The UEFA Champions League round of 16. Well, this is the point where we usually get interested. But then, before we talk about the round of 16, we saw the conclusion of the playoffs. And, interesting playoffs, actually. 7 teams that took a first leg lead, eventually qualified.
Yeah.
But only one result was overturned. But before we get into that, let's talk about the game that gave us the most talking point, in the playoffs, and that is Juve versus Galatasaray. First leg, 5-2, and somehow, some way, Juve came back. They actually came back 3-0. It went into overtime. It went into extra time, and somehow Juve capitulated and eventually got knocked out by Galatasaray.
Well, I mean, it was really an interesting fixture because when the fixture first came out, I was like, okay, I don't see Juventus actually going to the next round. But then, if you look at the first leg, the first leg happened, how they were they were decimated by Galatasaray. I just felt, okay, this is it. Galatasaray are moving to the next round. But then, second leg came, and it just felt like we might be seeing a remontada, and then all of a sudden
we saw the remontada. Yeah. It's just that the remontada
they know how. But then all of a sudden they got the goal.
Because they got the 3 goals they needed.
And then the fact that they got the 3 goals while still playing with a man down was very, very impressive from Juventus' point of view. But then if you look at it, they could have gotten more than 3 goals, even not for the fact that they were being profligate in front of goal. They had some chances they could have buried, but then they were lackluster in front of goal. That's what Turam actually had a chance he could have scored, but he missed it. I mean, these are the time where you need your shooting boot on. You need your goals need to be counted. I think they shot themselves in the foot by actually missing some chances. And then for Galatasaray, I just feel they were very, very lucky yesterday. I think the fact that they were a man up and they had a player like Victor Osimhen up front for them was what actually made them actually get into the next round, because at some point just felt like they were not good. They didn't come to the party at all. I just felt like, okay, yeah, maybe Juventus might knock them out, but then they knocked Juventus out.
Shola, let's talk about Galatasaray themselves. It feels like there's a problem in that team. I mean, we have a video of the first leg, which of course you are watching on the screen right about now, where Victor Osimhen was practically, even after winning by 5-2, Victor Osimhen was angry at the final whistle because he believed that his teammates were not playing with him. They scored 5 goals. Victor Osimhen made 2 assists, but it felt like they were not connecting with him. And yesterday also, we saw it again. Yes, they eventually scored 2 goals, but the only goal Osimhen scored was penalty. But in play, it still felt like they were not locating Osimhen enough.
Personally, I was very disappointed because, fine, I accept the inadequacies of Osimhen in few situations. But if you are going to play against Juve, and unfortunately for you, you concede a goal, they will keep believing. They are playing on their turf in front of their fan. They are playing at home. They can use the crowd to get other goals. All you need to do was to dent that hope.
And score first, equalize. Just get a goal in there somewhere.
They score you 1, you score 1. They score you 2, you look for the 2. So you keep denting their hopes. But Galatasaray kept giving them that hope that, okay, fine, we can go, we can get more goals. Now, in situations whereby they were using the flanks to play you, and they were losing the ball in few situations, and you had Osimhen up front to give the ball. If you give the ball to Osimhen at least 3-4 times, you will get the goal for you. But you kept going on your own, and it was obvious at the point that I felt like, what's going on? It's like they intentionally don't want to pass to Osimhen, and we saw it. It took almost one hour and so many other minutes for them to finally get to Osimhen, and that was when they scored. They were just lucky yesterday.
Definitely. I mean, extra time eventually, and then they eventually got the goal that was enough for them. So congratulations, Galatasaray, into the round of 16, but doesn't look like they'll get past the round of 16. We'll get there eventually. Because there are possible matchups. They can't be playing like this, and
they can't.
But then let's talk about the biggest upset of those playoffs. Bodo Glimt. I mean, they didn't just manage to get the better of Inter Milan. They comfortably sent Inter Milan out home and away, both in Glimt and at the San Siro, they comfortably edged Inter Milan.
I mean, for Inter Milan, I just feel this has been their season in the Champions League. They've played, I think, 7 matches in 6 matches in the Champions League. They've won 2. They lost 3. I think in the Champions, they lost to Arsenal, they lost to Liverpool, and they lost to Bodo Glimt in the knockout stage. So if you look at for Inter Milan, yeah, they are doing very well in the league.
2 points ahead in the Serie A.
But then if you look at the Champions League, they are not been doing very well. I think that kind of shows you that maybe Christian Kivu might not be that guy because to actually take Inter Milan forward. Because if you look at it, one thing you know Inter Milan for is that this team, they finished in the final of the Champions League last season. Now coming into this season, expectations will be high. Now they brought in, for the management of Inter Milan, they brought in someone who hasn't tasted European football before.
It was with Parma. Before he was brought about.
So this is more like a big test for him. So now if we are talking about Christian Kivu now, so there's a certain way Inter Milan play when they are playing generally. Because normally against Bodo Glimt, from the first half, you could see that it felt like these guys were under pressure. They played like they were under pressure. They were playing like it was 90-something minutes and they were losing. They didn't calm down to play the ball. If they had calmed down, they will still do very well because you have players in this team, players that have won trophies. Dimarco is more like MVP in Serie A. Manuel Akonji is one. I think he won the treble with
Manchester City.
They have players in this team. So now, if you are looking at for Inter Milan, there's a certain way they most likely play through the wings. They use their wing backs to actually play. And against Bodo Glimt, one thing Christian Kivu failed to understand was that if you're going through the middle against this Bodo Glimt side, you won't get any chance because they are playing a 4-4-2 low block formation.
Yeah.
So going through the middle wasn't all that.
But let's talk about Bodo Glimt themselves. How impressive should we be with them? I mean, not just because they beat Inter Milan away, but also in the group stage, they got the better of Manchester City. They beat Atletico at the Wanda. I mean, that's some impressive stuff.
When these are the things we expect in Champions League. Teams that will come out and play good football, and they get results like this against the people we call big guns in the game. And the quality of football they play. If you look at the team, they outrightly don't have big players. They just have the system because it's all about system. This is the way we want to play. We have players that fit into the system, and we know we can cause you problems. If they can cause Manchester City problems, if they can cause Atletico problems, definitely they can cause Inter. So the belief was there, and they kept believing, and they got the result. And looking at this particular result sums up the Champions League season of Inter Milan. They've been shambolic. They haven't really been impressive, and they'll be pinching themselves at the back and feeling, oh, this season we were rubbish in the Champions League.
I'm quickly just going through the other results. Maybe another result that was interesting was Atalanta. I mean, 2-0 down at the Signal Iduna Park, and then they came to Bergamo, got the needed 3 goals that they needed to qualify, and then Dortmund spoiled it by scoring a goal, and they needed a last-minute penalty for them to get to the round of 16.
Well, I think this just boils down to the mentality. I think the mentality of the Dortmund players was not up to that of the Atlanta players. I mean, if you look at it, it just boils down to who wants it more. Atlanta they knew they had to do something, and it just felt like, okay, Dortmund, they were just okay with that 2-goal lead. If they had played like they played at the Signal Iduna Park, then why can't you play the same way you played at that place in Bergamo? Why try to sit back, and when it was now until you were like 3 goals down before you decided, oh, we need to start attacking. I think they got that wrong, and then when you're playing like this, you should be, when you have players that you should actually use when it comes to big games like this, like Seru Gurasi. And for Bensebaini as well, I feel you should be doing better when it comes to situations like that.
Our other results, I mean, we saw Real Madrid defeated Benfica, even though the Prestiani issue, but at least, Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabéu beat Benfica by 2-1. PSG only managed to draw, but they already did a comeback in the first leg, which was enough. PSG still not, impressive. I mean, still struggling against AS Monaco. And then, of course, we had Atletico de Madrid, wallop Club Brugge 7-4 in aggregate. And then, of course, Newcastle United 9-3 against Karabag, putting Karabag in their place. And of course, Bayer Leverkusen played out the goalless draw in the second leg, but already they concluded in the first leg 2-0, and they are through to the round of 16. So at the end of the day, Atletico Madrid into the round of 16, Newcastle into the round of 16, Bodo Glimt into the round of 16, Leverkusen into the round of 16, PSG, Galatasaray, Real Madrid, and Atalanta. Now let's talk about the round of 16. Of course, the draw will be done later this week, but let's talk about possible matchups and what we may likely see. Number one, PSG to take on Barcelona or Chelsea. How about that?
That's going to be an interesting one. I know a lot of Barca fans have been clamoring for PSG, but right now PSG are not in the best of form.
This could be the best time for Barcelona too, but I'm just thinking, see, you do that highlight against Due, Bakola, and Varaskelia. you know that the Dembele is injured. Let's not go at Dembele. Just do that highlight against Due, Varaskelia, and Bakola, and you are done.
So I don't feel.
So I hope Barcelona fans should be careful what they wish for.
Well, they said they wanted to play Chelsea. They played Chelsea. So what happened?
Now they want
Paris Saint-Germain.
Well, be careful what you wish for Barcelona fans. Galatasaray to take on either Liverpool or Tottenham Hotspur in the draw.
Oh, I feel Galatasaray would want to play Tottenham Hotspur. This would be the best.
But Tottenham Hotspur is a different animal in the Champions League. Even though they don't have a new manager, so we don't know. Thomas Frank was good in the Champions League, but we don't know how
they will still fancy their chances against Tottenham rather than playing Liverpool.
And the one we like to see, Real Madrid against Man City or Sporting Lisbon. You know, it feels like it's not a complete season if Real Madrid and Man City have not played each other.
Well, I want to see actually. I want to see Madrid Sporting Lisbon.
Not Madrid Man City.
Nah, I want to see Madrid Sporting.
Yeah, I want to see Madrid Man City. Let's give us what you are asking for, what we like to see. And Newcastle to take on either Chelsea or Barcelona. So it's either or. If PSG is taking on Barcelona, Newcastle is taking Chelsea. If PSG is taking Chelsea, Newcastle is taking Barcelona.
I want to see Newcastle Barcelona again. Now the first leg, I think it was Rashford that helped Barca.
Yeah.
So I just feel Newcastle, they might have learned from that.
And Bodo Glimt, the team that I've come to fall in love with, they'll take on either Manchester City or Sporting Lisbon. I don't want them to take Man City because I know how revenge is on Guardiola. Just give them Sporting Lisbon, a team they can handle.
It's going to be
putting them in a double leg situation against Man City is like just it's just like I mean they are a team that I've come to really love. I mean, so Bodo Glimt, Sporting Lisbon. And Bayer Leverkusen will take on Bayern Munich or Arsenal.
We saw Bayern Munich take on Leverkusen last season in the Champions League, and we saw how it ended.
So how about okay, maybe Leverkusen now.
Whichever of the two they are playing, they are going out.
They are going out. So whether it's Bayern Munich or damned if you do, damned if you do. Whether it's Bayern Munich or Arsenal, don't focus on losing.
They are leaving. That's the end. If they happen to face that Arsenal or Bayern Munich, it's going to be a home and away defeat for them.
As we expect the draws, which fixture are you looking forward to getting? Do you think if you put it in my power, this is the kind of fixture I would like us to have at least one in the round of 16.
Chelsea Barcelona.
PSG Barca.
What did Barcelona do now?
No. The reason I said Chelsea Barcelona quickly, is because they felt the last time we defeated it was just a one-off.
Yeah.
It was just a one-off. I want them to understand that their team is not as good as they feel it is.
But then it was, let's not forget, so Maresca that was in charge there. Now it's
still the same. They still play almost the same system, actually.
You think Lamazon will still defeat Barcelona?
Well,
they are still playing almost the same.
I can't really say he will defeat Barcelona. So, but then you all know as Blue is the highline.
As a Chelsea fan, I'm not scared about Barcelona because I know we get goals to them. It's simple.
All right. Well, there you go. Chola wants to see Barcelona, Chelsea, and Fahad wants to see Barcelona, PSG. Barcelona fans, we are sorry for them. It looks like left to us. They are going to be meeting a heavyweight whichever way. But then let us know in the comment section the fixture you are looking forward to the most as we look forward to the round of 16 draws.